out those grey doors this afternoon, you walk out as a different person to the person that walked in. Is that cool with everyone?
Yes, please.
Now, I'm Italian. I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to lose some stuff on the floor. Thank you. But we're going to make this a really interactive thing. I don't want to just sit here and talk to you all afternoon. I would love some input. Is that cool with everyone?
Yes,
Can you help me out? The more you put in, the more I give back to you. Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Yes. Do you want it out?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jess.
Buzzing.
I knew I could trust you.
Yeah.
You got my back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Trustworthy face.
Yeah, that's what they all say. Okay, now here's what we're going to do. The first thing that we're going to do around this session is this. I want you, there's a reason why you're in this room, and I'm honored that you chose this one above all the others. This clearly is something that hit a nerve for you. Amazing. I would like if you have a piece of paper, somewhere Mark's brought his notepad, you guys have something to write down. I would like you to just check in for a second and write down why are you here and what do you want to take from it? What do you want to get out of it? What's it for you? What's in it for you? And that's going to set the intention for you for the rest of the afternoon. Is my microphone working? Now it is. I just need to stop spitting in it, Jess says. Thank you, Jess. I appreciate you. All right. So as you write that down, I just want to say something. If you resonate with any of this stuff today, right? My intention is to give you as much value as I possibly can. If you happen to resonate with what I do, I'm giving everyone that is in this room today a chance to win a 4-week package with me to work some of this stuff. And ultimately, you say, Carlo, what do you do? Basically, I work with good people to help them get what they want in life, business, and love, okay? You can click on that. On there, there's also a new program that we're starting. If you want to jump on the wait list for that, it's going to be absolutely freaking transformational. You're going to love it. But if something resonates with you, that's there. If it doesn't, cool. No worries. Let's have some fun this afternoon. Okay. Can I Can I change it?
Yep.
Mark, hit me for a second.
What?
Hit me for a second. Thank you.
Yeah, what's going on next door? That's the vagina place. Okay.
All right, cool. So, anytime I work with someone, anytime I like to do anything, I like to leave people feeling one of 5 ways, or actually all 5 ways. Number 1 is clear. Number 2 is certain. Number 3 is methodical. Number 3 is systemized. And finally, number 4 is systemized. And number 5 is enthusiastic. Okay? That's how we like to do things. That's how we like to live. That's how we like to show up. And that's how we step into our king energy or our queen energy every single day. Yes, I'm going to talk about king energy. Okay? Ladies, internalize that as queen energy. Okay? It's the same thing for you to step into the greatest version of yourself, whatever that is. Cool? Now, I want you to take a picture of this. I'm being a little bit facetious, but I'm going to make a point. What I want you to do is I want you to tell me what's on the top left-hand side of that image. Yell it out. Top left-hand side. In the red. Results. Thank you. Okay. Now, results. What's at the bottom left? Failure. Okay. So what I want you to see is that clearly in the yellow, there's something called your king self, your queen self, your higher self, the greatest version of you, the most complete version of you. You all have it, okay? And in the red, yell it out, what is it? Bitch self. Someone was really excited to say bitch today. I love it. Okay, so what I want you to show you, I want you to take this as a mental image, take a photo of it, save it, look at it every single day. In the middle, there is a line, okay? And that line is called the line, okay? Very, very complicated. Okay, now, what I want you to think about, let's see if this, it's cool. I never used a laser before. Hang on, let me just play with it for a second. That's so cool. Okay, now that I'm done. Now, here's what happens. This line, okay, is what we're going to focus, especially in this hour and a half that we're together. I want you all to keep yourself above the line in your king or your queen self. The more you live your life in your king or your queen self, the higher the chance of your results go. Now, you keep yourself in your bitch self. The longer you do that, the closer you bring yourself to failure. Okay? Now, this is called the cause and effect line. I'll break it down super quickly. When you live in your bitch self, in your victim self, okay, and you live in blame, you live in this model of the world. Effect, meaning, because things are the way they are, so I will be. Okay? Once everything is right, then I'll be. Once my bank account is whatever it needs to be, then I'll allow myself to feel rich. Okay? Once I have the body, then I'll be able to take my top off at the beach and feel confident. When you live in your king self or your queen self, you adopt this model of the world. So you become the cause of everything that happens. And you live upon this model. I am, therefore I have. I am the success, therefore I'll create success. Who's with me? Okay, thank you. Does this make sense to everyone? Okay, take a photo, keep it as your screensaver. Take your kids off it, put this on there. Maybe not. Okay. Okay, I put this quote in everything that I do because I really love it. And fear today is going to be at the core of everything that we talk about. This quote reads, and by the way, who knows where this quote is from? It's from Dune. Okay, you've seen Dune? Okay, cool, great. I'm on fire. Everyone knows it. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear is gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. Fuck yeah. Awesome. Now, part of what we're going to talk about today is there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes up that includes family. I don't want this to be a blame fest. We are not here for blame fest. We're here to help you take your power back. I'm not here to blame anyone. I don't want you to be here to blame anyone. I want you to be here to take your power back. Okay? And it ran into my family until it ran into me. It ran into your family until it ran into you. Whatever it is, lack of confidence, playing small, being a people pleaser, being insecure, being broke, whatever it is. It ran into your family until it ran into you, but we've got to make a choice. And we can only make that choice when we take our power back. Sound good? Yeah. Who's up for that? Yeah. Okay, 3 people. Who's up for that? Yeah. Let's go. Okay. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to introduce you to the making of what I call the good person syndrome. If you were here during my 15-minute talk earlier, you heard me talk about the fact that as soon as we start thinking about the good person syndrome and you read that, automatically your brain goes, well, so that seems like wrong, so I need to be the opposite. Well, no, and we're going to break it down. Most of us know that we kind of have some people-pleasing tendencies. Would that be an accurate, fair statement? We kind of know? Okay. Now, some of us are like, oh, I'm not a people pleaser. Okay, cool, no problem, that's fine. But what I'm hoping to do first is open this up. I'll take you through a quick explanation, a visual explanation of how people pleasing begins. Because if you were to say, Carlo, what's the definition of the good person syndrome? Basically, the good person syndrome is a survival mechanism based upon the belief system that if I am good, or better even, if other people think that I'm good, then I will get 3 things. I don't want to spoil it for you though. I want to take you through because I think it'll be like, oh, that's so cool, right? So you think I'm cool and now I'm a people pleaser. Great. All right. So let me just do something super quick here and just use some technology. Let me get out of that. Let me get into this. And I'm hoping that with this clicker and some technology, it works really well. Okay, hang on 1 second. All right, we're going to have to leave the things at the top. Is that cool? Yeah. Okay, awesome, thank you. All right, so The good person syndrome. Are you ready? Bit of a journey. Thank you. All right, here's what happens. Oh, it works. Now, let's start here. Who was born? Yes, I'm not the only one. Okay, now, birth. Okay, we are born, and for the first 0 to 7 years of our life, we go through an experience called childhood. Okay, now, there's one key thing that we need to understand. Okay, let's set the scene. We are born in an imperfect world to imperfect, loving people. Who can agree? Thank you. Now, what we need to understand about childhood super quickly, and there's so many coaches here, so many people that have done personal development, you know what I'm going to say, I just want you to hear it one more time. For the first 0 to 7 years of your life, those are vital. Why? Because your brain is in what we call, it's in a certain frequency, right? We don't question things. We're in complete download. We're in complete download mode of everything that happens for us, okay? We don't question it. We don't say, you're like 6 months old and say, Mark, what's the meaning of life? No, you don't, right? You just go through life and you just accept everything that happens. And we are all born in an imperfect world, unfair world, to imperfect, loving people. There are 2 key factors that begin to shape the existence of the good person syndrome. Number 1, all children are born totally helpless. Do we agree? Yeah? All children are born totally. Can they help that? No, they're helpless. Remember? Okay. Factor number 2, because we are totally helpless, we rely on our mum and dad or our people that take care of us to do what? To meet our needs, to recognize and meet our needs. Not just that, but we want them to do it in a timely, healthy, and judicious manner. Doesn't matter, I've had 4 ice creams already. I want another one. Max, it's 9:30 in the morning, bro. I can't give it to you. No. I've got, first experience, okay? Who's got kids? Okay, jerks. Kids are jerks, right? But they rely upon us, just like you relied upon your parents, to meet your needs. And you wanted them done now. And you didn't care what logical answer they would give you. You just wanted that met. Done. Do it for me now. Buy me that toy. Give me that ice cream. Pick me up. I'm crying. Help. I want my needs met. And because we rely upon imperfectly loving people to meet our illogical needs, this means that sometimes, what? Our needs don't get met. I'm going to take you back. We're born totally helpless to imperfectly loving people. We want our needs met. They don't get met. What happens? Because of our reliance, it leads to something called dependency. You are totally relying, you are dependent upon other people to have your needs met. Needs equals survival. Imagine you right now as adults relying completely on other people to meet your needs. Would you give that up? Your ability to look after your own self? You wouldn't. Imagine a child that gets born into this crazy shit show that relies upon people like you and me to meet their needs. Holy shit, right? You are dependent. You're like, man, my dependency is my survival, and if I don't get my needs met, what happens? I'll tell you what happens. The dependency leads to our one biggest fear. Abandonment. This is at the core of everything that people pleasing is. Abandonment. You don't realize it? I'm going to show you. Abandonment equals death. Remember, to a child, not to you, or maybe. Should we ask that question? But to a child, abandonment means fear. Why? Because you're totally relying upon our parents or our guardians to meet our needs, to protect us, to keep us safe. Are you with me so far? Is this making sense? When I learned this, I'm like, holy shit! This makes so much sense. Okay, let's dig deep. Let's keep going. Okay, we're back. Factor number 2. All children, I'm just going back to childbirth, or to childhood, okay? You see what happened there, that little roller coaster? Okay, cool. Factor number 2 is that all children are ego-centered, right? Which basically means this: the universe revolves around me. I mean, who knows a 45-year-old that still thinks this? The universe revolves around me. Ego-centered. It's all about me. Me. But remember, we're talking about children, all right? And what children do and what children think, what this means to children, right? It gets internalized. And it reads something like this: I am the cause of everything that happens to me. Which also gets internalized to this. No, go back. I am the cause of everything that happens to me. It leads to then them thinking it's my fault. It's my fault. Because if the universe revolves around me, when I don't get my needs met, it's my fault. Isn't it? Because if it wasn't my fault, would I have my needs met? Right? Okay. Your needs not getting met goes back to what? Abandonment. We internalize it and we say, man, you know what? I'm so afraid of being abandoned that, and if it's my fault, how am I going to rationalize this? How am I going to learn this? Well, it's my fault. It's because I am bad. And that abandonment goes back to leading to death. It's that death feeling. It's what we're running from. So we internalize it. We make it my fault. It is that I am bad. It can be the only reason. Remember, not from your consciousness, which is your ability to think now, but from a little child's point of view. Does this make sense? Can you go back into your experience and resonate with any of this? A little bit. There's a couple of heads shaking. Let's see how many heads shaking soon. So, I am bad. This is vitally important for us to understand. I'll tell you why. I want to introduce you to a concept called toxic shame. Everyone say toxic shame. Toxic shame. Who's heard about toxic shame before? A couple of people. Knew I was in the room of personal development. Toxic shame, the more I look into it, the more, and I geek out on this shit. Like you guys geek out on boats and property. I geek out on human development. I geek out on like, why the hell is someone doing something? Why am I doing this? I love human development. I love understanding it. And the more I look into it, and the more I hear talks around self-worth, around worthiness, confidence, it all points back to this. It is so deep. Toxic shame is the belief that I am bad. It is the belief that I am bad. And toxic shame leads to worthlessness, to a feeling of being worthless, of being bad. Because if I believed that I was good, wouldn't I go and post on social media and tell people about the thing that I love? Wouldn't I put myself out there more? There is a deep issue around toxic shame, and we're going to break it down to empower you guys. Does this make sense? Yeah? Is this a little bit deep? No. Mark's like, nah, mate, give it to me. All right, cool. So, the solution, we've got to come up with a solution, right? Because we don't want to go to death. We don't want to be abandoned. I need a solution here. And so Shane thinks, well, if I am good, then something is going to happen, right? What's going to happen, Shane? That if I am good, I get to cover my 3 core needs. To be loved, to have my needs met, and to have a problem-free life. Just my brain just fired there for a second. So, if I am good, I'm going to have the love that I want and feel love with everything else connected to it. I'm going to be liked, I'm going to fit in, people are going to think I'm cool, loved. But also I'm going to have my needs met. All needs. Sexual needs, emotional needs, I'm going to get the things that I want, right? and then I'm going to have a problem-free life. Because, shit, if I didn't get my needs met from mum and dad because I was bad, because I was naughty, because I lied, and because I was not a good boy or a good girl, I don't know sure why I pointed to you, Mark, when I said girl. Good girl, right? Then if I am good, then I'm going to have these three things. Who's been living their life to get these three things done? To have these three things. Really take a moment, just shut your brain up for a second and go back and actually ask yourself, what have I been doing to get this? What did I believe I had to be and do and not be so that I could get these three things done? Because the key fundamental paradigm belief, and I'll tell you what paradigm is in a minute, of a good person is that if I am truly me, that will be bad and dangerous. If I am truly me. Why? Because there was a time when I cried and I needed someone to hold me, and I was told, stop crying. And I felt abandoned. So guess what? I was being truly me that time. And then this coach comes and says, hey, be authentic on social media. I can't do that. Why? Because if I'm truly me and I speak my truth and I stick to the things that I love, guess what? It's going to be bad and dangerous. So my solution, be someone else. Fit in. Pretend. Fit into social norms. You guys need to understand. I'm going to have a real moment with you guys. Do you know how much this just freaking kill me? Like, I only talk about this because I lived it. Gave up so many beliefs. I stopped myself from being great because I thought that, hey, if I'm great, no one's going to like me. No one's going to want to play with me. I'll be alone. I stopped me from being great because then what would happen? What will people think? What will my family think if my business is this and I have that? What will other people think? Am I alone in that? This stuff like destroyed me, and it's destroying your soul, and I just want it to be the last day that this happens. Because there is levels. And you might look and like, oh, I'm not a people pleaser compared to. So stop comparing. Stop that bullshit. Just compare between you and you. Where are you at? Do you have what you want in life, business, and love? Do you? It's okay if you do. Amazing. But if you don't, I'd really love to help you get it. Whether I get anything out of it or not, I don't give a shit. I just want you. I love this stuff. It means a lot to me. Does this make sense to everyone? Mm-hmm. Okay. Roller coaster. So does it work? Does it work to be good so that you are loved, have your needs met, and live a problem-free life? Who thinks they're good, by the way? Who thinks they're a good person in this room? Come on, hands up, believe. You got it, okay? Everyone believes they're a good person. So let me ask you, are you loved in the way that you want to be loved? To the level that you actually deeply want? No. Okay. Are you having your needs met? In your relationship, in business? Are you having your needs met? No. Okay. Do you have a problem-free life? No. So what the hell have we been doing? And I'm not saying that we're trying to be the opposite of a good person. Because let me tell you this, the opposite of crazy is still crazy. Which means that the opposite of an extreme is still what? Thank you. Still an extreme. This process of view, I'm a recovering people pleaser. Okay? I told you this before. I'm a recovering people pleaser. But the process of letting go of what is ineffective, good person patterns, attitudes, behaviors doesn't include you becoming a complete jerk. You don't need to become arrogant. That's not it, because that's just another extreme. What we're trying to do is become integrated. Write it down, integrated. You're not trying to be the opposite, you're trying to be different. How many of you thought once upon a time, I work with a lot of good guys and they say, once upon a time, they make a decision that they're going to be completely the opposite of their dad. Completely the opposite of your mom? Of your dad. Interesting, right? And so we live all this, our life trying to be the complete opposite. And that throws us off because we're more concerned about being the opposite that we still don't get our needs met. We still don't get the love that we want, and we still have a problem-full life. Okay? I get excited about stuff and I speak quickly. I'm going to take a moment. Be honest with me. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Thank you. So we understand that it doesn't work. So we've all, throughout childhood, let's go back to our needs and abandonment and death. Okay? We develop survival mechanisms. And the biggest survival mechanism is the good person syndrome. We develop this thing that, hey, if I'm a good person, everything's going to be okay. People are going to like me. My business is going to be full. The guy that I like is going to like me. The woman that I like, she's going to like me. She's not going to dump my ass, right? What else? People are going to be, I'm going to be socially accepted, right? The good person syndrome is a survival mechanism that does three things. It allows you to cope, avoid. It's actually not avoid, it's prevent. Okay? That's my wife's fault, by the way. I'm joking, don't tell her that. Don't tell her that. Okay. And hide. I did all those things. What it does, so it allows you to cope, but cope from what? Cope from the deep, internalized toxic shame and the hurt that came from your abandonment experiences. Do we all have abandonment experiences? Yeah, I'd say so, right? It allows us to cope with that. It allows us to, I'm just going to go, to prevent things from happening again. Because it hurt a lot. I don't want it to happen again. And then hide. And for a lot of men, this is big. I know there's very strong women force out here today. But ladies, this is important for your men. They hide their flaws. We believe that we need to be a good person to hide our flaws. Why? Because if we hide our flaws, what happens? People will think that we are more than we actually are. As a man, we don't want to be seen weak, right? Probably women too. But ladies, this goes for you. Hide your flaws. You try and cover it up with all this shit because if someone really sees me, someone really sees who I am, I'm unlovable. I'll get rejected. I'll get humiliated and I'll be abandoned. And so we go on this shit show of Instagram and we pretend to be something that we're not, and we do all these things and all these habits, all these routines, all these patterns and behaviors that just, we do it to get approval of someone else. But what's the issue with that? That we live our life seeking approval of others instead of who? Yourself. Do you see how heartbreaking that is? To live life seeking the approval of other people, yet you look at yourself in the mirror. Well, actually, no, you cannot even look at yourself in the mirror because you're like, I don't love who I am. You want to really tackle self-love? Let's do this. Let's actually go back and actually seek your own approval. Do the shit that you want to do. What is it that you're avoiding doing because on some level, someone will, I think they'll say this. Let's seek our own approval. What is the right thing that you need to do? Not to quote Frozen, but there is a line in Frozen that says, do the next right thing, right? Gosh, my kids see this on replay. They'll be like, oh, don't mention Frozen. I want his job, mention Frozen all day. But what would happen? The fear is what? That this will happen. That when I do the right thing, this would happen. But in fact, the reality is that the only thing that was going to happen is that you start to really freaking respect you. And you get your personal power back. And you know how then no one respected your boundaries or disrespected you and you didn't get the respect that you deserved? That's dead. Because now people look at you and like, hey, don't mess with her. Don't mess with her. I'm stepping back. Why? Not because you're a jerk and you don't want to be around you, but because they know that you're not a walkover. I've been a walkover many times. And I did that to me. It's not a blame game. It's a taking your power back game. Does this make sense? Yes. Okay. So what does this look like in your life? Do you see what have you been doing? And by the way, we're going to have a bunch of exercises to do together after. And then what we'll do is I'll actually shut up for a bit. And everyone's like, amen, right? And we'll open up to a Q&A. Is this cool with everyone? Yes. Oh, I love you guys. You guys are the best. All right. That's it. This is done. So I'll go back to the other one now. Okay, now here's what I want you guys to do. Who's got a phone? That's a rhetorical question. Okay, grab your phone. Here's what we're going to do. Everyone grab your phone. Paula, do you have your phone?
No, I'm filming.
Oh, you're filming. Okay. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I want you guys to go on that QR code. On that QR code, there's a free assessment that we've put together. Okay? Now, it says leadership. So before you go, I can't do it because I'm not in leadership, you are in leadership. The thing is, the problem that you have in your life is you haven't realized it. Leadership is you leading you. Leadership is self-leadership first. If you think it's just delegation and managing, you're in for a world of pain. Leadership is you, leading yourself. So what I want you to do is I want you to go through this. In this questionnaire, there's going to be some questions that say team, okay? If you don't have a business team, think about family or think about your own ass, okay? Just yourself. Cool? Does this work for everyone? Is everyone in? Yes. No? Okay. You good? I got you, Mark. Okay.
Thank you.
No worries, mate. What is it? Go with what you're led to tick.
I'm very good at setting boundaries.
Good. So just go with the one that resonates with you the most. I'll give you a couple of minutes. This will probably take 2.5 minutes. And just go with whatever. Don't overthink it. Don't do that thing that you do about overthinking. Just go with whatever comes up. Does that not work on the screen?
No, I'm not playing games.
Yeah. I get you. You got it. No worries. You're doing it to see if there's a different answer this time. Let's see what's changed in a week, Nikki. but Allah has. Some of you guys are starting to get their results. Hands up if you're still going. 1, thank you. Okay, guys, I'll give you 15 more seconds if you're still going. These results will give you the most tendency and a profile around your good person, people-pleasing syndrome. The most accurate towards that. I know some of the answers will probably be a little bit left field, made you think a little bit different. All right. Okay. I see a couple of people still going. All right. Is everybody done? Yes. Okay. Now, what came up? I heard a couple of people say, what did you say to me just before? Yeah. That's exactly you. Who saw the result and go like, yeah, that's me? Yeah. Hands up? Okay, cool. Who wasn't it super accurate for? Maybe? Maybe?
There was some that I wanted an extra option. Yeah.
I know. What result did you get?
Overgiver.
Ah.
Don't me.
Awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do, by the way, who's an accommodator? Not Jackie. Okay, who's a conflict avoider? Yeah. Who's an approval seeker? Yeah. Who is a overgiver? Okay, good stuff. Awesome. So here's what we're going to do. We're gonna cover a couple more things, and then we're gonna do a bit of a Q&A before the lady at the back falls asleep on me. I'm joking. All right, all good. So we're gonna do some work around that. I want you to ask questions, and we're gonna work through the 4. Does that sound cool for everyone? Okay, amazing. Now, the nice person, the good person paradigm. Okay, basically reads that. If I can hide my flaws and become what I think others want me to be, then I will be loved, have my needs met, and have a problem-free life. What is a paradigm? A paradigm is a roadmap we use to navigate through life's journey. Everyone uses roadmaps, and everyone assumes that the map that they use is up to date and accurate. If you were to take if you go in Melbourne and use a Melway, who ever used a Melway in Melbourne? Or what's it called in Sydney?
Sidway.
And is it Brisway in Brisbane?
No, it was Brisbane something.
Yeah, Queensland's always been a little bit behind. Okay, I'm just joking. Yeah. Okay, so if you use one of those maps 20 years ago and you try and use it now, you'll be on swampland most of the time. Now, most paradigms are developed when we are young. Remember, when in our first 0 to 7 years of our life, that's when our brain is in download mode. Okay, we're not questioning things. This is where we understand everything around us and we just take it as gospel, right? So develop when we are young, naive, and relatively powerless. They are often based on inaccurate interpretations of childhood experiences. Since they are often unconscious, they are rarely evaluated or updated. Unfortunately, these paradigms are assumed to be 100% accurate even when they're not. True or false? Cool. All right. I'm not sure where I put that there. Okay, so remember we talked about survival mechanisms. Let's talk around this for a little bit. And what I want you to do is I want you to start asking yourself and just, I don't know, just explore, just get curious around, when am I doing this shit? Okay, and I want you, if you got pen and paper, write some stuff down. Okay, what am I doing to cope? What am I doing to cope with the internal hurt feelings that I have around being abandoned? What am I doing to prevent for people to see, for me to relive those experiences? In my business, what am I doing to prevent feeling like I am bad? Am I putting out maybe the pieces of content that are really true to me, but I'm afraid? Am I not saying what I need to say to my partner because I'm afraid that she will, I don't know, leave me? I remember I struggled to have conversation with my wife and say no to her around stuff because I was afraid that she was going to leave me. She's like, I'm not going to leave you, you're the best. No, you didn't quite say that. I chuckled myself. And what have you been doing? What have you been doing to hide yourself, to hide your flaws? Have you been hiding your flaws? In fear that you wouldn't be enough, that you wouldn't be lovable just as you are. And as you're writing down, if anyone would like to have a share, I'd love to take a share right now. Does this exercise make sense? You sure? Do you see how I'm leading it? And how we're progressing through it? Because I don't. No, I'm just joking. Okay. Would anyone like to share how the things that they're doing and how they're applying the good person syndrome to cope with maybe the feelings that I'm not enough, I'm not good enough?
Yeah, I'll share. I spent probably 30 years, I've done a lot of different things, a lot of different jobs. I thought that if I could do more, be more, that people would accept me and you'd be loved more. I've changed since then, but I've wasted 30 years of my life just doing different things, different industries, different jobs. You name it, I've done it, except the doctor. But yeah, that was just a coping mechanism to make me feel like I was worth being accepted in the community, I guess.
Wow, that's power. Can we give him a round of applause for that share? So the first step into overcoming the good person syndrome is the ability to actually, vulnerability and sharing and actually talking about where we've been. It's a huge part to actually be seen and open up to someone. That's why anytime we take people through, we make sure we allocate safe people to be able to share and to be able, whether you're a woman, you go with a woman, for a man, you speak to a man, right? Safe people that understand, because as soon as we open up and we're able to share and we're able to talk through it, we take our power back and we realize that thing is not as big. So thanks, Mark. Great share. Yep. What was your name?
Melinda.
Melinda, lovely to meet you. Give her a round of applause, please.
I just wanted to share that sometimes in early survival, in the cope, prevent, hide, it worked for me to a point when it didn't. So it worked for me in Sydney when I was in a corporate career and I was can-do Mel and I kept getting my boss's job until I got to a point, and then life circumstances changed and those skills of hiding and people pleasing didn't work anymore until I got to the point where I didn't know who I was. And the more you push yourself out of something that you're not, the more you die inside, and you just have that whole paradigm of the different opposing view until sometimes you have to crash and burn, like I did, until you rebuild yourself in your true authentic self.
Beautiful. Guys, give a round of applause. Great show. Exactly. Exactly. I just hope to catch a few people before they crash and burn. It'll be nice. Sometimes we get hit by a truck. Sometimes we get hit by a feather. I'd rather a feather. I've been hit by a truck more times than I wanted. But that's how it is. But it doesn't have to be that way. So thanks, Melinda. I appreciate it. And that's right. It works until it doesn't. You can put up with it so much and you can kill your soul for so much. Eventually something bigger says, hey, enough's enough. And I'll give you something that you can't just avoid. And either you come into rooms like this and you listen to bold people and bitter people like me, and sometimes you're like, man, maybe I don't have to crash and burn. Maybe I can actually just look at it now. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. And yes, it's going to feel like I'm going against my own fabric because everything that feels right and it feels normal goes down this way. But actually, is it paying off? Is it working? It's not. Yeah. You had your hand up as well?
Yeah. I have a habit of not speaking up for myself, not advocating for myself, and prioritising other people's needs before my own. So I go, oh no, well they can have that, and so I don't speak up. So I'm always lower down the rung and quiet.
Okay, pause there for a second. Beautiful share. Thank you. Appreciate you. What do you think her profile is? Overgiver? Maybe. Who else? Anyone else? Accommodator. Hands up for accommodator. Hands up for overgiver.
What's the overgiver?
Interesting. Does that resonate to you? Yeah. Yeah. And it feels heavy, right?
Yeah.
How?
Well, it's become to feel like a bit of an obligation to keep myself small to make other people feel more comfortable. Because I've had a lot of feedback that I'm too much. So if I keep it smaller, people won't run away.
Ladies, how often are you told you're too much? Don't, just quiet down. You're so needy. Don't. You stop. You're so difficult. Ladies, who feels that? Yeah, right. In the work that I've done, I feel that that's one of the biggest things around people pleasing that women do, that women suffer with. That they live their life just staying small and they've lost their power. And then that queen energy is gone because we're putting everything in everyone else and we're trying to be small and going through this experience that is so abundant that it just requires you to step back into your power and actually just go, you know what? This is what I want. I'm not doing that. This is what I want. And then one of the scariest things that we go through is that as soon as we start to reclaim our power, guess what? Some of those people that we were around, do their true colors come out? Right? And all of a sudden, you run into what? Resistance. Why? But you run into something with you. What do you run into? What's our deepest fear? Abandonment. Abandonment? No, abandonment. And that's what we don't want to do, right? We don't want to experience that abandonment. So you know what? What was your name, sorry? Xanthi. Thank you. 3 times today I forgot your name. I'll get it right. Xanthi. Everybody say Xanthi with me. 1, 2, 3. Xanthi. Thank you. I remember it now. Okay. So what Xanthi does, watch how her brain works. She's like, man, I really like to be valued more. I love to be a queen. I love to be a badass queen, right? In bad beach energy. But guess what? If I do that, then I'll get abandoned. And you know what? I prefer to stay in this shit. Why? Because I know that I can put up with it. I know that, you know what? I'll just stay here. I really want that. It's pulling me. I want it. But no, I'm just going to sit in this shit. And I'm just going to keep swimming in a pool of diarrhea just because, fuck, I've always done it. Doesn't that break your heart? How are you doing it in your own life? I catch my shit all the time. I'm like, man, you're doing it again. I told you I'm recovering. I'm not there yet. Will I ever get it? I don't know. But I'm on the road. Does this make sense to you, Xanthi? Yeah? So the fear of abandonment, and it starts with a couple of little steps. It starts with actually saying, you know what? Choose. Like, do I actually really want to do this thing? No. Nikki came along to my mastermind last Saturday. And she was going to a friend's business meeting and stuff. She's like, I don't really want to go, Carlo. Okay, don't go. Right? Another person there, she was making cupcakes for her sister, and she didn't want to make the freaking cupcakes for the sister and drive them 3 hours to whoop nowhere, right? Because it didn't value her time. But could she say no? No. So I'll just do it. I'll just be a nice girl. Yeah, you're pleasing someone that, hey, do you still feel loved? So you're playing out the model, Xanthi. Are you loved? Okay, are you getting your needs met? Correct. And you have a problem-free life. Exactly. So what the hell are we doing? And I say that loving, right? It doesn't have to be that way. So what if we actually develop and started putting little things in place? That's why I love doing this work. Because as soon as Xanthi, I'll tell you exactly what's going on. I can predict it. She's going to start saying no. She'll feel like shit. People will say, oh, but Xanthi, you're Xanthi from the block, right? So you've always done it. Now I rely on that and I expect it. Now it's not coming. Oh, you've changed. Who's gone through personal development and people say, you've changed. Well, and then their own projection of their own shit, of their own abandonment comes because now you've been a queen, now you've been who they want to be inside, and because of their fear, they're going to project shit so that you stay small, and then you're like, oh yeah, you're right, I'll stay small, I'll go back. I've done it so many times. We have to resist the urge, and you have to choose something. And I'm going to talk to you about purpose and vision above pleasing. Okay, does this make sense to you? Yeah? Ask yourself, what do I want? What is it that I want? Can you give me an example of something, of the last thing that this has showed up? Just while we're here, let's dive in.
Likely in personal relationship.
Yep.
It was always his show, whatever he wanted.
Yep.
Whatever I said something, it was dismissed or agreed to and then ignored later. And, just, well, whatever, I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
Not rock the boat.
Yeah. Ladies, not to rock the boat. Anyone there? Yeah.
No, but I'm single. For that reason. Just
Right.
anyway.
Hey, why put up with shit
Exactly.
if you're not getting what you want? Right? How many times have we been with people just because we've been afraid to be alone? Mea culpa, right? 100%. And then you look back one day and you're like, man, I'm fucking miserable. Why? I told you I swear. I get excited. Everyone's an adult. Great. Then again, like, why apologize for being passionate? Just be passionate. Anyway, so I just had to have a word myself. So you say like, you know what? I'm doing this. If I give you a challenge for a week and I said, hey, Xanthi, put your needs first. Xanthi's like, anxiety. But put your needs first for a week. And just like commit to it, stick to it, like your life depends on it, because it does. Stick to it. Put your needs first and say, I'm going to serve my dinner first. Serve your own dinner. You're a big boy, right? What show you want? I want to watch this show. What do you want to go eat? I want to hit here. Put yourself first and watch what happens. Because you have a fear of what? What's the fear behind it? You're so over-giving, accommodating, and probably conflict avoiding and approval seeking. What's the fear for you? Yeah? That he'll leave you. Oh, okay. So it's still, the remnants are still there. Right? How's that impacting you today?
I'm at a stage where I'm grateful for the learning.
Yeah? Yeah? Are you doing what you want? Are you putting yourself first? Yeah? Are you finding any way that you're accommodating or over-giving to anyone else?
Right now.
No, right. Good. So I want you to take it to another level now and put yourself first even more. Find ways, whatever that is. Right? There's an old lady at the, at Coles, cut in front of her. I'm going first. No, I'm just joking. That's joking. We got to have some fun. Guys, give her a big round of applause. That was freaking awesome. Yeah.
Can I just ask your viewpoint of a Karen? Because a lot of women get called a Karen.
Yep.
What's your viewpoint on that?
What's my viewpoint on a Karen? I think defense mechanisms show up in different ways. And often, just like some men that are insecure, they show up in the really aggressive, and women have to go to the complete extremity, the other extreme, to protect themselves. Maybe they've had the similar experiences where they've been hurt before, and like, I'm not getting hurt again. I'm going to get everything I want. Now we've gone to the complete other extreme. Is a Karen integrated? No, she's gone the complete opposite. Now she's aggressive and now she's destructive. Integrated. That's what we're asking. That's what we're suggesting. Do the hell you want, right? I'm just presenting this. If it sounds right, great. Does this make sense? Yeah, is that fair enough? Cool? Awesome. You got Karen? No. Okay, here we go. Let's do some writing. Let's do some exercise. How are we going, by the way? You guys enjoying this? Yes. Okay. Anyone pay you to say that? Paula? No. Okay, good. Okay, awesome. So here's what we're going to do. Write down the messages you received in your family that seem to imply that it wasn't okay for you to be who you were just as you were. Take a moment. I'll give you a couple of minutes. The messages you received in your family that seem to imply that it wasn't okay for you to be who you were just as you were. Family or authority figures. Good share. Love it. Powerful, man. I know that for a lot of us, some of this stuff has been buried deep down in a safe at the bottom of the ocean, and we've compartmentalized it, because that's what good people do. They compartmentalize us. They're conflict avoiders. They're hiders. They want a world that is so peaceful that they don't want to feel this shit. So what were the messages? Go back to your childhood. And maybe it's the first time you thought about your childhood. I don't know what brings you here. But the little subconscious thing, the little things that you're like, man, you know what? Something that we spoke about today kind of clicked. Maybe that thing? Oh, could it be that? Maybe. Trust whatever your subconscious brings up. Okay, 10 seconds. 2, 1. Next question I want you to think about. What are some of the abandonment experiences that you remember? By the way, if you're a parent, if you are in education, I'm hoping a bonus that you will take from today is that as you become the greatest version of you, your whole life and the whole life of your children, grandchildren, children that you haven't even met, too much, that will improve. That you as a parent will say, oh, if I say that, if I do this, let me just be aware of it. And also start a therapy fund for your kids. Because imperfect world, imperfect loving people, we're doing the best that we can. That's all we can ask ourselves. But our best, the best of what we can do now, goes to a different level. What are some of the abandonment experiences that you remember? Big or small? They're yours. It's your journey. That's just silly. Shut up. Put it down. Okay, maybe this will help. These are some of the abandonment experiences are most common. There's more. A child, by the way, it says he, she, okay? It's not just all boys. He's hungry and no one feeds him. He cries and no one holds him. He's lonely and no one pays attention to him or her. A parent gets angry and yells. Parents who got angry and yelled. Right. A parent neglects him or her. A parent puts unrealistic expectation on them. A parent shames them. And a parent doesn't want them. A parent uses them to gratify their own needs. What resonates with you? What do you see? What's true to you? It's funny, we have this relationship with crying. As soon as kids cry, we want to stop them. Crying is a form of communication. It's the best form of communication that we have for a number of years. I would argue that it's still a better form of communication now for adults. It speaks more than a lot of words can say. But often with children, we shut them up. We call them naughty. We label them. Imagine if that was the only form of communication you had. Someone said, "You're wrong for it. Stop speaking. Shut up. Be a good girl. Be a good girl, stop talking. Be a good boy, stop talking." What would that be like? We wouldn't take that, would we? Imagine being totally helpless and ego-centered. Thinking that everything is your fault. And something like that happens. The only thing that you can believe is that I'm bad. I'll stop crying. I'll stop asking for my needs. I'll stop having needs. I'll stop having wants. I'll just be who you want me to be. Because you know what? I need to survive. And so I'll do whatever you say. And we begin to conform and comply. And yes, I'm not saying like you shouldn't, when you're a child, your parents keep you safe and it's healthy. But you get what I'm saying? Yeah? We begin to take it from family to mum and dad to keep us alive while we can because we're powerless and totally helpless, to then society and what freaking Instagram says. Yeah? Is this making sense to everyone? Is this connecting dots? Yes. By the way, who has one of these experiences? Who has an abandonment experience? Hands up. Keep them up. Keep them up for a second. Who has an abandonment experience of some kind? Okay. I want you to look around and I want you to find the experience of life that you're living and that you're not alone. You're not alone. Okay. I truly believe that you're in this room because you're called to lead, to be a leader, to help others, to actually make this world a better place, in some way. Now, leadership, and when the people-pleasing trap and this good person syndrome, when you're in leadership in some way, is destroying that ability for you to do what you want to do, to live your purpose, but then to also lead others, especially if you're a coach and you're in business, you're a teacher, your kids, you're always leading something. You're leading yourself first, always. Number one. The people-pleasing trap kills that. Your family, your kids, your grandkids, your clients, your friends, your community, in some way you are leading. Now, leadership requires faith-based courage. Faith, not in a religious way. If you're a person of faith and a religious person, take it that way. If you're not, more of a spiritual person, faith is faith, trust is trust. We're talking about the same thing. Let's not get triggered, okay? Faith-based courage. You need trust. You need to have courage to do the right thing based upon the trust that when I do this, good things will come. Does this make sense? This is why we need to choose vision, purpose and vision over pleasing. Choose purpose and vision over pleasing. Your own purpose of making you the greatest version of you that you can be, the vision of what you believe in and where you're going, over pleasing. Over pleasing your little bitch self, over pleasing what other people say, over pleasing what the ex-partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, sister, auntie, nun at the monastery, whatever it might be for you. Okay? Purpose and vision over pleasing. You have to live a life of purpose, whatever that might be for you, is you becoming the greatest version of you so that then your vocation can be the best it can be. Does that make sense? Hold on to the vision. Do you know what you want? Do you know who you want to become? Do you know where you're going? Over-pleasing. And it's going to require courage because you're going to risk the rejection. You're going to risk the humiliation. You're going to risk the abandonment. But the people that are for you are always going to be for you. The people that love you are always going to be there no matter what you do. If your Instagram post sucks, they're not going to love you any less. Your kids don't care how many sales you get or how the business is going. They just care about you. Purpose and vision over pleasing. Okay. So here's the thing. I realize that we've got 19 minutes. I want to ask you, I've got a few more slides, or I can shut up and we take some questions. What do you guys prefer? Who wants to a bit of a Q&A session? One person. Mark, okay. Who wants to see the rest of the slides? Okay, 3 people. Okay, I'll give you 3 more slides and then we go into it. The reason why I love leadership is because it always starts with you. It's not a corporate kind of leadership. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about you leading your own life. You are at the 2025 Breakthrough for Success Summit, right? On some level, you want to have a better life. And it starts with you leading yourself, for you to choose purpose and vision over pleasing and over choosing low frequency stuff that doesn't serve you. The role of leadership, right? The actual action, the actual purpose of leadership is to influence, okay? Is to influence. That's why if you think about your kids, if you're a parent, they don't listen to you, but they emulate you. You're leading them. Where are you leading them? To the same old shit or to actually the greatest life that they can have? You're influencing. From the Latin, the word influence reads influere. And if you break it down, it means in to flow. When you lead someone, is to bring them into flow. Your energy. You can't have the energy of leadership and of influence if you're pleasing, if you're too afraid of what's in it for you and you're protecting yourself and preserving yourself. So when you step into that energy and you're doing the right thing, something changes in the room. Have you ever been in a room when someone's energy was like, man, what's it about you? I need to learn. It's something about you. I want to be like you. You ever felt that? I have, right? That's what it is. You can lead. You can be those people that people look at you and go like, something about you. And it's that energy that comes from you being in your flow, you being in your best self, in your king or queen energy, and bringing others into flow. And you don't even need to talk. It's just you. What was that? I didn't hear it. Say it again.
Shit, yeah.
Shit, yeah. All right, everybody say shit, yeah. Shit, yeah. Okay, so remember, I'm just going to bring you back here. We have this sphere of people. We grow up and we develop this sphere of people because of all the experiences that we have. And we do everything that we do and don't do the shit that we want to do because we don't want to get rejected. We want to avoid that rejection, want to avoid the humiliation, and want to avoid the abandonment. Again, one more time. The good person syndrome says that if I was to be truly me, that would be bad and dangerous. I want to tell you that the opposite is actually true. The opposite is actually true. I'm going to leave it on this and then we'll open up to Q&A. We're talking before about the opposite of opposite. The opposite of crazy is still crazy. When we think about going from a nice, good person leader to whatever the opposite will be, we think that, we're going to go from who I am, I'm going to be the complete jerk. But that's not true, right? Now, there's a couple of ways that the experience of nice, good people, nice people operate. They have no boundaries, they avoid conflict. You guys know this. They put themselves last, struggles to say no. The dictator would be the opposite, right? Is a dictator, is a jerk, uses those survival mechanisms. Out of fear, they have to be the complete opposite. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking actually about becoming the integrated leader. That's what we're working towards. That's who we want to become. You removing the ineffective good person patterns, ineffective good person patterns leads you to become that integrated leader. That receives that respect that you know you deserve. Cool bananas? This is the integrated king or queen, okay? Ladies, queen, instead of he, say she. But has a strong sense of self, likes themselves just as they are, takes responsibility for getting his or her own needs met, is comfortable with their masculinity or femininity and their sexuality, has integrity, which means he or she does what is right, not what is expedient. Beautiful word. Had to look it up. He is a leader. He's willing to provide and protect for those they care about. They are clear, direct, and expressive of their feelings. Can be nurturing, giving without caretaking or problem solving. He knows how to set boundaries and he's not afraid to work through conflict. Ooh, conflict. Okay, purpose and vision over pleasing. Now, a couple of things. Let me just skim through this. Last question I will ask and then we'll open up to a Q&A. Where is the good person, the nice guy, the nice girl behavior showing up in your life? Where specifics. What is that behavior that you're doing right now? You know it. I don't know it. You know it better than I can. You know your life better than anyone else. Where is this showing up right now? Just check the time. Thank you, Mark. Where's this showing up right now? And if you can't think of it right now, maybe tonight as you go home or as you do some breath work this afternoon or whatever you do, keep your focus on it. Maybe think about it. Be open to it. Send it to your subconscious. Have a think. Let it show up. And when it shows up, don't run away from it. When it shows up, actually ask questions. Don't run. Don't hide. Okay. I wanted to go through attachments, and I am not going to. It's part of the group stuff that we're going to do. It's not that I don't want to. It's because I don't want to run out of time for some Q&A. I think it'll be valuable. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, so before I open it up to a Q&A, if any of this stuff has resonated with you, if you feel called, there's an opportunity here. Get a chance to win 4 sessions with me, one-on-one. We work through your shit, and we help you get what you want and put a plan in place. So there's a QR code there. If it interests you, all good. If not, totally fine. Now, I'm going to open it up to the room. If anyone has any questions. What's the thing that has kind of stood out the most for you? What's the biggest question that you have? Got it?
Is that the same QR code as at the beginning?
Yes, ma'am. It's just not the assessment. It's just slightly different. Yeah, so if you had it before, just give me another chance and totally fine. If not. But if you want to change your life, might be a good idea. All right. Now, who's got to share about something that has stood out for them? Let's start it with that. We've got about 12 minutes and I'll try and do my best. Who's got to share? Yeah, hi Jackie.
Hi. I really appreciated you unpacking what abandonment means, because in my mind, I won't use conflict if I think someone's going to leave me, but I think when you shared what has a parent done that is under the banner of abandonment, and feeling shame and having certain words said to me, and then when I break that down, it was like if I was being too loud or too much, and I think that was said in the room
Yes.
earlier, they would just leave the room.
Yeah.
Or they'd say you're too much or
Yes.
you're too loud, and so being an actor and wanting to perform and do all those types of things,
Wow.
that kind of hit me to my
Yeah.
core a little bit.
Yes.
And I'm lucky that it didn't
Yeah.
There's always been that validation from my parents to
Yep.
go down a career path that they didn't believe in.
Yes.
To this day, still don't necessarily
Yeah.
believe in.
Yeah.
So
Wow,
yeah,
beautiful.
That was really great for me to go. I don't feel like I'm ever going to be left, but there have been ways that it has
Yeah.
happened in my life.
Where didn't we get the approval that we were hoping we get? Because remember, totally helpless. I'm looking to you. Do you approve of this? Is it going to be right? Is it going to be right? Like if you have a dog, it's like, okay, I want to go. Can I go? Can I go? Walkies? Walkie? Can I go? Right? And we do that as people. Like as a kid, like my son does some weird stuff, and he's like, can I do that? Yeah? No? I'm going to do it anyway. Right? But we look, and especially when we're sensitive and when we're empaths and we feel. I was a very sensitive kid. Maybe this shit hit me harder than normal. I don't know, right? But when that happens, you look at it, and it's all the implied. Remember, it was assumptions of how we interpreted experiences. It probably, your parents, I can guarantee, never wanted to hurt Jackie. They love it. They want to do it. And there's patterns that they've learned from where the people that they've learned it from and they were learned it from, and so it just keeps carrying on, and all of that, runs in the family. It's just how we do it. I don't know any different, right? And so that's how I do it. I don't even think about it. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. And then, holy shit, those abandonment experiences. What am I doing for my kids? Okay, let me stop doing that, and let me do it in a different way. It ran into my family until it ran into me. Does that make sense? Jackie, great share. Thank you. That was awesome. And notice how yeah, no, but notice how her purpose was the thing that was so burning inside, and she chose to go for that purpose instead of actually just falling back and retreating and hiding. Do you see that? Yeah? Awesome. Great job. Thank you. Great share. Yes, Jess.
Hello. I would just like to say,
Yes,
I've done
Jess.
a lot of work on myself.
Yeah.
I needed it. DNA, cleansing, going past generations, absolute woo-woo, nervous breakdown, bad health, cancer, yibbity-yibbity, you name it, so I had to totally take stock. But in part of my journey, gratitude, and then understanding that from a cellular point of view and DNA, like you were talking about parenting, and we're trying, we'll talk about the parents. And so I came from German stock who went through First World War and Second World War. So their criticism, but I didn't really learn that until I was an adult, not as a kid. That was hard. My parents divorced, so the full-on abandonment. My father just couldn't handle having kids, and we were young children, and they divorced when we were very young. So my mother brought us up independently. And this is not like a violin story, but it is all about when we get older, and I'm sort of like, not upset, I'm very grateful that I'm 60 now, and I've decided, or not...
You're not 60. Stop it, Jess.
I am. And I'll tell you why later. But anyway, why I look so good at 60, that's another story.
I figured it was just because you were born 6 years ago, but there's more to it. Okay,
No.
okay.
Anyway, it's all about just appreciating the fact that our parents, for better or for worse, are, born imperfect. And although I had a very strict upbringing, and it was tough, I grew up understanding that all they were trying to do, although the message wasn't there when I was a teenager, and so impressionable and so vulnerable. I never had unconditional love. It was always typical German, like, you're not pretty enough, you're not skinny enough, you're having to cheat, always criticised. But that, as I understand now, it was to help build resilience. These individuals went through war. They lost everything. They've got survival DNA, and all they're trying to do is protect. Well, this is for me. I'm not generalising for anyone else. So yes, I was probably emotionally abused and all the rest of it, but I came out of it. But I needed to do the work, and I needed to do the process of self-love, self-care, and now my platform is to help others. And I don't have that imposter syndrome. You can go and F off. That is not what I'm insecure about, but I'm always learning and meeting amazing people and networking, and that has helped my confidence. I've looked after my mother for 12 years. We ran a business for 12 years. I had adrenal burnout. I had nervous breakdowns like you would not believe, but I needed to dig myself out of that shit. And I am free from all of that now, and so much happier. But that all came with learning and understanding And having a little, what I'm trying to share is other person's perspective. So I'm not saying we're thinking we're a victim, but we also need to ingratiate ourselves with the intention of our parents. When it comes to abandonment, or when it comes to, figuring out parenthood. I'm never married nor had a kid, but, at the end of the day, apparently parenthood doesn't come with a manual. We all fiddle our way through. So,
Yeah, great
I
share.
respect anyone that's a parent, and
Yeah,
that's
beautiful.
what I had to work on as well.
Beautiful share, 100%. Give a round of applause, great share. And it makes sense that because of what we're growing through and what our parents have grown through, and went through, grown, I'm not sure it was an English word. I thank you for your kindness of not going like, what the hell did he just say? It would make sense that being strong, independent women because of what you've been through, 100%, right? So, great share. Thank you very much, Jess. Brilliant. Anyone else? Any questions? What was your profile, by the way?
Over giving. Sorry, what do you mean? What did I say? I've already forgotten. I've deleted it. Overgiver.
Overgiver.
And
Yep.
yes, I have suffered from the whole I need approval, 100%. My mother said something and I totally revered
Yep.
her, and whether
Yep.
it was good or bad or indifferent,
Yep.
she was the only one,
Beautiful.
parent figure, so whatever she said deeply impacted me, and I always
Yep.
desperately wanted her approval.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Beautiful. Anyone else? Yes.
I've got a question following on from what I was talking about. Looking at the integrated leader qualities and things like that, I've been a leader and I did well. I have happy staff and well-functioning workplace. But then I get to personal life and there's this big gap. So have you got a tip for bringing those qualities that I know I can do across into other areas of my life?
Yep. I think it's deeply connected to toxic shame and a level of, because it's easy to compartmentalize work because you're just like, well, that's not me, I just do this. And I can be freaking amazing there. Comes to my home life, shocking, right? Because it's me. And now I'm face to face with that. That's why for so many men, they just go and work and they compartmentalize it, and that's their survival mechanism. Survival mechanism for a lot of women is their kids. That's their emotional home. They just go there and they avoid themselves. And then the kids leave home and they go like, who the hell am I? Who the hell is this guy? Right? Because they've put all their thing and attention and identity upon that. So looking into that toxic shame and setting the same boundaries and setting the same self-respect around your own stuff will make your work better and will definitely make your life better as well. Make sense to you? Yeah. Anyone else? Cool.
I think probably the words that stood out to me before were self-respect.
Yeah.
And when you change your behaviours and you're worried about people, you're not running to their house with the cupcakes and doing what you've always done. If you can cross the bridge to the other side, when you respect yourself more, you'll find the people around you will respect you more as well.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say, it's worth it going through that uncomfortability
Yeah.
to get to the other side.
Yeah. I mean, people talk about confidence all the time and self-worth all the time. Who wants to be more confident? Can I just get a little bit of show of hands? Who wants to be more confident? Okay, great. Keep your hand up. Tell me what confidence is. Jackie, don't answer because I know you know this. And Nikki, don't answer. Who knows what confidence is? Self-belief. Self-belief. Mark, what's confidence? Self-belief? Yeah? It's the ability to trust self, right? The thing is, how many times there's this concept, I touched on it earlier, about loops. Who said the loops theory? No? You, of course. All right. So here's what happens. Let's say you get a bit of inspiration. You say, hey, I want to go, I should do this thing. Oh, I should start a New Year's resolution. I want to lose some weight. And then in your mind, what happens is that there is a magical loop that opens, right? And if you do nothing about it, that loop stays open. If you do something about it, you go to a conference, I don't know, next time you're at a life conference event, you can try this, I don't know when that will be. But let's say, there's someone else, I should go introduce myself. I want to go and introduce myself and shake everyone's hands in the room. I'll do this thing instead. That loop, inspiration is open. You do nothing about it, it stays open, right? And what happens is that there's many open loops in our life. and they never close because you never do that thing that you've been inspired by, that purpose or that vision. And so what happens is, as they open, guess what happens to your self-trust or to your confidence or to your self-respect? Why? And then the next time you say, hey, New Year's resolution, 2025 Breakthrough for Success Summit, I heard this person, I'm going to do something. And then your brain goes, yeah, cool story, but nah, you don't trust yourself. And then there's that thing connected to your purpose and to your vision that really calls out to you and you really want to go, and I need to get off this stage. But then you just don't trust yourself. And so we do all this talk around confidence, but we don't talk about actually doing the shit that you're called to do, that in closing loops. And guess what? If you close loops, it doesn't matter about the result. It doesn't matter what happens. If people, like, you go up and ask for the girl's number and she says no, you go up and ask for the guy's number, he says no, so what? Who gives a shit? That's not the point. The point is you did that thing that you knew between you and you had to do. Closed loops, guess what happens? King energy. Why? Because you respect you. Do the hard shit. Leaves you frustrated. 100%. But you're frustrated with you. Yeah, 100%. So guys, my name is Carlo, the Career Kingmaker. It's an absolute honor to spend some time with you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for not falling asleep. I appreciate you guys. If you want this, thank you.
Thank you. I had to wrap Carlo up because I feel like he could go all afternoon. Thank you so much. Now, this afternoon, we have an afternoon tea break right now. Next door will be Paula Ryland, our intimacy specialist. Strap in, strap on. I'm not sure which way she's going.
Yeah, baby.
And in this room, we will have our wonderful former Olympian, Annalisa, will be speaking in this room. And Chris will be next door doing Property Showcase. So I did just want to remind you with this little break that we do have exhibitors in the end room. So if you had a little bit of time, grab a drink, have a bathroom break. But because the rooms are shut up, you might